Jim, I'm walking the walk, just listening. The perfect match, Kane and Jim, getting at it. Kane and Jim, I'm gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, Kane and Jim, getting at it. Kane and Jim, I'm gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has a name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like let me stop rubbing. Or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim, I'm gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Jimbo always keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has her name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like let me stop rubbing. Or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. Perfect match, Kane and Jim, getting at it. Kane and Jim are gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Jim always keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has her name dropping. Gets you out of the blue and let me stop rubbing. Or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. Always keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has her name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like let me stop rubbing. Or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the perfect match, aka Kate and Jimbo. I hope you are all feeling good on this Kudus Thursday, the 7th of July, the day after we got the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. For that man just above Jimbo's head, Mohammed Kudus, looks like to be signing for Spurs. I'm saying looks like because we've been here before with Willian. So I don't like to.
No, not the same, Kate. Not the same.
No.
Nowhere near the same.
Okay, well, he is going to be signing for Spurs, and what a signing it is as well. As always, I'm joined by Mr. Jimbo. Jimbo, how are you doing? How are you feeling about the signing?
Well, I did tell people yesterday to chill that it will happen, and little did we know it happened a few hours after I said that. People too quick to jump the gun. I knew it would happen. This Johan Lang, he likes to keep things under his hat. He don't like to let too much out of the bag. And I think the next one's going to be pretty soon as well. Either Eze or Wissa, all of a sudden it had just come out that we're signing him.
It's weird. We did a stream for the first time in a couple of weeks, and then we signed a player a few hours later. And I said, it's not like they sit and watch our streams. Well, maybe they did. Maybe they did. Maybe they went, Kate and Jimbo are on. They pumped us up. We're going to go and we're going to sign Kudus and get it done. I called him Kudos. Jim says you don't say Kudos, you say Kudos. Is that right? Kudus?
Yeah, that's what they because they got the players to pronounce their own names. And it was Kudus.
Kudus. Okay.
Kudus. We should just say the guy that told West Ham.
The guy that told at the end of the day, if you say the word kudos, it's Kudos, whereas his is Kudus. So Kudus does make sense.
Kudus.
So we've only got one person in the chat at the minute. I don't know if that's because StreamYard seems to be playing up on my computer or whether we've just got lowly old Shem in. Big up, Shem. Always good to see you. Says, afternoon, Princess Kate and Sir Jimbo. Hopefully you are both well on this hot day. And wow, it is hot. Kudus in. Now let's go get Wissa and then a monster 6. Yes, indeed. That is, I want to see a big DM come in. We've also got Daniel 90 here saying big up. It's just little West Ham. Yes, indeed. West Ham, know your place in the food chain. He wants to better himself, so he's come to the mighty Spurs.
No, I watched the West Ham streams yesterday. I watched Lawless and the older version of Lawless. It looked like Lawless, but just older. It was a bit cringy as it goes. It was a bit cringy because they're kind of contradicting themselves, saying that he's not a good player, he's trouble, he's this, he's that, the other. But then they were crying that they didn't get more than 55 million. Like they wanted 65 and above. And it's like, well, if he's that bad, why do you want more money for him? But they were finding every excuse under the sun not to want him, right? When you know deep down their stomach was twisted and they were absolutely gutted. I mean, Lawless couldn't stop fidgeting with his ears, his hair, it was like, it was a bit cringy. But at the end of the day...
He with his hair, Jim. He's bald.
Yeah, well, his head. He was fiddling with his head, his ears. It was a little bit cringy. I mean, they should just be honest and come out and just say, look, he's a good player and we're gutted he's gone and we should have got more money for him. I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying that, but they were getting a bit of stick by the Spurs fans in the chat.
Yeah.
But I watched another one this morning and he was the same. He was so angry.
Yeah. Big up, Colin. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Also, Simon Hill, big up to you. Says, finally, a winger that can beat a man. Indeed. Daniel says, they'll always be our little brothers. We always take their best players. That's 5 now in my lifetime. Defoe, Canute, Parker, Kudus, Carrick. I mean, there is an argument. I heard a few people saying we've taken their best player. And then there was the argument that Bowen is their best player. If you'd have asked me if I want Bowen or Kudus, I'd have took Kudus all day long.
Me as well.
Yeah. I also like.
You know what? You know my feelings on Bowen. I'm not mad on him. He's definitely not a Spurs player.
I also like Paquetá or Paqueta, however you want to say it. I also like him as well. But no, Lawless doesn't have hair. He was actually in with his ear and he kept rubbing his eye and he just looked very agitated, which a lot of West Ham fans are, I think, at the moment. But this was how the news was broken by Fabrizio. We got the breaking news. Mohammed Kudus to Tottenham. Here we go. Deal in place for 55 million from West Ham. Kudus only wanted Tottenham and he will now sign a 6-year contract. Medical tests booked for Kudus in London on Thursday, then all signed, as David Ornstein reports. Yeah, David Ornstein, I believe, broke it first. Exclusive. Tottenham reached total agreement with West Ham to sign Kudus, deal for 24-year-old forward worth in the region of 55 mil. Medical scheduled on Thursday ahead of the Ghana international joining Tottenham on a 6-year contract. 6 years as well. Only a young man. I think Levy's he's got it right for a change.
Well, I actually read Kate was a bit less than 55 million. That's what I read. So I'm sure it'll come out the exact amount.
Yeah. Big up to Steve RFC. Good to see you. But look, for me, Jimbo, I went on the terrace last night as soon as the news broke. I think he walks in as our best player and by far our best attacking player. I don't know what you think. Am I doing a disservice to anyone or? Well,
you're doing it. Yeah, you are a little bit because different positions, Kate. You know, I think he walks in as our best winger. All right, without any doubt. And it remains to be seen with the forward line now because everything's going to change under Frank. So I think that we should, even though Solanke, I love him, and I think that he's done well since he's been here under the circumstances. He hasn't scored enough goals. I agree with that. But I think that this season will be a massive season for all our players, you know, because I think there was a little bit of a shambles last season under Ange in the league. So I think that they'll be really organised this season. So we'll see the true players, you know, how good they are and what they can do. So yeah, I think you're doing some of them a bit of a disservice, but he definitely walks in as a top player in our team. He walks straight into the team as far as I'm concerned.
So what does that mean for Brennan Johnson?
Well, look, I personally would move Brennan Johnson to the middle and let him do what he's good at, poaching goals. You know, he's like he reminds me of Lineker when he's in that box. That's what Lineker used to do, just poach goals. And I think that that's what I would do with Johnson, is move him in the middle. He's good at poaching goals, Kate.
Yeah, I agree. 6-year contract can be good. He can do good. Same with other new players. I trust Thomas Frank. He knows Spurs need top players in. Yep, it's a good start.
Well, I mean, you've got to look at it, right? He's got a few years Premier League experience now, right? We know what he can do. We know he's a good, really good player, right? I think he's yet to prove he's a top player, right? You know, in that level above, which I think he can do under Frank. But you've got to look at it that we've got all these young players as well, and he's going to be a step above them. So in a couple of seasons to come, when they've all kicked in and Frank's taught them their business with Kudus, I think it's going to be the makings of a fantastic team. You know, in seasons to come with these young ones. But obviously, we're worried about the here and now. But we've got good players, and there'll be more coming in. So we've got a bright future in Spurs, I think.
I hope so. Afternoon, Crooksy. Good to see you. Don't forget Martin Peters in a swap for Jimmy Greaves plus 200,000. That still hurts me. Going back a few years there. 5 million they owe. Jim, that is what Bellamy plays Brennan for Wales, and he's flying totally different to the Spurs way. I'll play him through the middle. Yeah,
I just think he scored 2 fantastic goals on the edge of the box last season. Right, they were crackers. One in the top corner, one in the bottom corner. But he's good at poaching goals, Kane. You know, he gets in that box, and he seems to always find himself a yard of space. So we'll see. I'm sure Frank's got plans for him.
Yeah, I'm sure. West Ham ain't even getting a full 50 million quid for a player they spent 33 million on. We mugged them big time. Is there anything nicer as well than mugging off West Ham? I mean, they try and mug us off all the time, but know your place, West Ham.
And the thing is, I mean, all the West Ham people I've watched a couple this morning, and they can't sit back and just admit that he's a good player and we got a good bargain. If someone bought Van der Ven, right, for 30 million, 40 million, I'm going to turn around and say, well, we've lost one of our best defenders, and that was so cheap, it was ridiculous. But they can't seem to do that. They're making every excuse under the sun that he's a crap player, he's trouble, he's this, he's that. It don't add up for me why they do that.
Afternoon, Paige. Good to see you. Afternoon, Side Dancer. What a great day now. Get Wissa. Are the West Ham's all right? No, they're crying into their bubbles. Fabrizio Romano's just tweeted half an hour ago that it's official and confirmed that Christian Norgard has joined Arsenal from Brentford on a £10 million deal. New midfielder for Arteta to replace Thomas Partey. So that has been done. Anything else? Tottenham have not received any official bid from Atletico for Cuti Romero so far. He's just saying that there's still nothing been reported about that. So personally, I don't think Romero will be going anywhere unless it's really late on in the window. But I've got a feeling Romero will be staying.
They won't let him go late, Kate. I'll tell you that now.
Not only that, if he sees us bringing in good players, why would he want to go? Yeah. You know, we just won a trophy. We're in the Champions League. Also, 3 hours ago, Mohammed Kudus will complete his medical at Spurs today. Spurs and West Ham have now started to exchange documents after deal agreed. The £55 million fee will be paid over 3 years. And also Luka Modric to AC Milan. Here we go. You got to love Modric. He's getting older, but he's still such a brilliant player. I mean, I'd have took him all day long at Spurs for a year or two. I just think he's a superstar. But he's got to move to AC Milan. So
I mean, he come on the pitch last night, right? And he come on with 25 minutes to go, I think, 25 minutes to go, I think. He come on and he done the first proper cross into the box and put it straight on someone's head, and the guy headed it wide. Should have scored. That was the first decent cross I saw the whole game from Real Madrid.
Daniel says if we've got a problem with Romero, though, he's only got 2 years left. So if we don't sell him this window, we better get him signing a new contract or we lose all the power. Yeah, there is that. I just don't want it to be left to lastminute.com. And I mean, although I think we have got some cover, Romero's a very, very good player. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what develops. AC Milan obviously do want him. Real Madrid and Rodrigo.
Up the money.
Yeah, Real Madrid and Rodrigo's camp will discuss his future from next week. Decision will be up to Rodrigo, as Milan are open to accept exit if the player wants to leave. He has not made Real Madrid starting 11 at the Club World Cup for 5 consecutive games. Obviously, Arsenal desperately want Rodrigo. I just don't see that one happening by any means.
Why not, Kate?
Because 2 reasons. First of all, I don't think they're going to have the money to buy him, especially if they buy Madueke. And second of all, I think Rodrigo's too good for them.
How much would it be?
90, 100 million, something like that.
How much?
90, 100, something like that. He's a sensational player. I think if he goes anywhere, it will be Bayern. Or if he was going to go to the Premier League, I think it would be more like a Liverpool, maybe a Chelsea. I just don't see him going to Arsenal. I mean, he basically, if he goes to Arsenal, he's saying, I'm not going to win any trophies. So why would he do it to himself? But we'll see. Side answer says Simeon has been twerking for Cutie and will continue to till he gets him. Oh, Simeone, sorry. I was thinking of Sim from Real Tottenham TV.
Talking of Sim and Ben, I'm on their last 2 videos about Kudus. So funny. They done one on the West Ham fans on X. It was hilarious.
Oh, they are all crying and melting down, saying there should be protests and all sorts. You've got to laugh. Modric has money in Swansea. Bale has put a bid in for Cardiff. What a rivalry that'll be. Wow, that'd be amazing. Big up to Hotspur Sam. Hope you're well. Not seen you for a little while. Good to see you. Cassandro's here. Says, afternoon all. Hope you're good. Kudus, good signing. I imagine many worried about his last season. I think he was unhappy. He'll come good. Good second signing. Yeah, and I think as well, he was playing in a very poor team. But there is a little bit of me that worries that he's got a bit of an attitude, like, oh, I'm not happy, so I'm going to down tools. But I think Thomas Frank might be able to get that out of him. I'm not sure Graham Potter is the man to manage somebody like that. But I think Thomas Frank, with his no dickhead policy, confident that he can manage him.
If there's a no dickhead policy, that's going to stop a lot of fans getting into the ground, isn't it?
Yeah, you're well screwed, mate. You are.
I knew that was coming.
We got Finn here saying Kudus didn't have a good season should be aware that he only played in his favoured position 9 times compared to 25 games a season before. It's no coincidence. Yep, agreed. Jimbo, because the PSR won't allow it, mate. I've done the numbers. The only way Arsenal can afford a Rodrigo is by selling a player for 50 mil. You know, Trossard may go, Martinelli may go. I just don't see them going for the money they'd need.
Have they bought that other guy from Chelsea? Is it official?
They've put a £50 million bid in.
Okay.
And also, they're meant to be linked with Gyökeres as well. They can't just buy because they're going to break PSR. It's as easy as that. So, I really don't want him to go. But if so, get him gone so the squad know where they're at. Yeah, I agree. Romero, a decision's got to be made one way or the other. They can blow bubbles at the protest. They put the owner in his place. I watched some clips of him. He looks a good player. I assume we're talking about Kudus. Big up, Matt. Good to see you. Afternoon, AJ. Says, afternoon, you lovely pair. I've been out all morning. Is it all official? Yeah, we've had the here we go. The medical is happening today. West Ham and Tottenham have exchanged documentation. So, yeah, it's all official. Come on, you Spurs.
I didn't realise how much West Ham fans hate their owner. Oh my God!
Oh God, yeah, they've hated him for years.
I mean, the hate I saw from them was unbelievable for their owner.
Frank had to deal with Tony. He'll know how to deal with Kudus. I agree.
Well, I don't think Kudus is trouble, Kate. I don't think
he's got a
trouble.
reputation of being having a bit of an attitude, but that might just be because he was unhappy. I don't know.
Have you seen him on interviews?
Yeah, and it's like Spence was rumoured to have an attitude, but none of us really know. So I'm not judging him by any means.
He's quite a quiet. Well, he's quite a quiet spoken guy. It doesn't seem like he's trouble to me. Not at all.
Matt is saying that Arsenal's PSR situation is just fine. Get Romero gone, says AJ. Cassandra says, speaking of that Madueke move to Arsenal, I was upset when we let him go as a youngster. Since being at Chelsea, I think it was a bullet dodge. Yeah, I don't rate him in any way, shape or form. Not at all. Daniel says, Matt, it's just above 200 million. In actual facts, we can spend more on our PSR without breaking it than you. I know Arsenal fans seem to think they can buy Gyökeres, Rodrigo, Madueke. Who have they already bought? Norgard. Who's the other guy they've bought? Zubamendi. And buy all these players and be absolutely fine. I mean, it's not going to happen, guys. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it ain't going to happen. But Jim, next up, who's going to be next? Do you see perhaps a rekindled bid for someone like Mbeumo, or do you see us going for a Wissa? Who do you fancy Tottenham going in for next?
Oh, mate, sorry, babe. I was talking to the dog. She's got a bone and she's nearly dropped it. I dropped it on me. She's bringing it out and shaking her head. This fucking bone. Oh, this bone in her mouth. I got this feeling about Eze. I don't know why I can't shake it. I think it's all gone very quiet. I think there's a reason for that. But look, either one of them two. I mean, different positions again. It'd be nice to get both of them, wouldn't there? Any chance of that? I still think there's going to be two really good players coming in. So let's see.
Yeah, this is true. As Colin says, could it be Grealish? A lot of people linking up with Grealish, 45 mil. Matt, you are living in La La Land if you think Martinelli can go for 70 million, mate. Come on. He is absolutely not worth anywhere near 70 million pounds. Maybe in Saudi, but hasn't he come out and said he doesn't want to go there? Honestly, these Arsenal fans, they live on their own planet.
They're the same as Man United, aren't they? They think their players are worth more than they are, and that's why they get stuck with them at their clubs. Look, Man United are in so much trouble because they're never going to get nowhere near what they want for the players they want to sell, and they're on massive wages. So if they go to another club and the club offer them smaller wages, they just say, "No, it's all right. I'll sit at Man United and take my wage."
70 mil for Martinelli. I can't even cope with that. That's hilarious. And remember, Danso is on point. Speedy V, stay fit. We got good cover in defence. Not a problem. Looking forward to the season. New medical staff, coaching staff holding the trophy. We'll be okay. Haven't we also got? Isn't that new guy Vuskovic or whatever his name is? Isn't he a defender?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. And the new Japanese kid, we've got Jagusin. It was only a few seasons ago we were absolutely struggling in defence.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Absolutely struggling. And look at us now. I think we've got eight defenders at the minute. And you've got to remember Davis is there as well. So I think some of them are going to go out on loan, but that's going to be down to Mr. Frank to look at them in training and decide who he's going to keep, who he's going to let out.
At least Man United are looking at Vardy, absolutely buzzing. Is that true? Are they looking at Jamie Vardy?
That's what I did see that this morning.
That's a bit random, surely.
Well, why are you buzzing, Paige? He's a bit over the hill.
I don't know if there's sarcasm there because he's injury prone. He's old. He ain't the player he was, that's for sure. Need that DM destroyer as a yes, but DM 100%. West Ham YouTube channel's going into meltdown about their club and chairman. Oh dear, what a shame, never mind. Mbappe, where he goes, terrible teams they all become. Yes, that does sound like Yoda. You're right. Matt says Ben Jacobs, the one who's the best for Saudi news, has said 70 mil. Wow, Saudis need a slap.
Well, if he goes to Saudi, then and they got 70 million, wouldn't surprise me because Saudi just pay anything to get the players there. They stay 6 months and then go.
Even if they sell him for 70 mil, I still don't see them buying Gyökeres, Rodrigo, and Eze. I don't see it happening.
If they go to Saudi, I don't think it's going to be 70 mil, Kate.
Our Page was joking. I think that's us done for signings this window. Notable signings at least. I disagree, AJ. I see a Wissa, someone like that coming in easily. Yeah, and I think we desperately need a defensive midfielder. I don't know who, but if Basuma goes, we desperately need someone to come into that role. Sam says, I'd like Justin Kluivert from Bournemouth. He scores a goal or three. Yeah. Vardy should go Rangers or Celtic. He would do a job up there. Big up. Leo says, almost 6 a.m. here in Denver. Almost the weekend. Let's go, homies. We got this. Oh, yeah. Heard we signed a baller. Yes, we bloody did. We signed Mohammed Kudus, Leo, and life is good. Good player. I'm over the moon. And if you take out last season and look at his first season at West Ham, he was so impressive. He's going to be playing with better players under a better coach. I think this guy is going to prove to be an absolute bargain at 54.5 million, Jim. I don't think that's overpriced at all.
No, nor do I. I think it's a great bit of business by Levy. We've got to give him credit. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you've got to give Levy quite a bit of credit, right? He pulled the trigger on Ange, where that was a massive thing, Kate, because we just won that trophy. 41 years without a European trophy, 15 years without a trophy, and he pulled the trigger on it, right? That took some balls to do that. And he's brought in Frank. We all know what Frank is, you know, what he can do with players. And it's kind of the tide's turning, I think. He's bought Kudus. He buys a couple more players. I think there'll be a few more people on Levy's side. You know, maybe he's going to back up what he said. And you've got to remember the money. He's paid 7 million to get rid of Ange. I think, was it 10 million to get Frank in? And he's had to pay to get his staff in. So he spent a lot of money doing this manager change, you know. So credit where it's due.
Yeah, George Abbott was the fastest. He ran the fastest in that sprint that they did. So maybe. I've just looked and someone's put left wing Telson Odebert, striker Solanke and Wissa, right wing Kudus or Johnson. Absolute cinema. That just those two signings, if we bring in Wissa along with Kudus, what a difference that makes to our front line.
Well, massively.
I mean, literally unbelievable difference.
I don't think we have to worry about defence, right? I think that they get this defence working like clockwork. I really do. Midfield we could do with someone else, couldn't we? Especially if Basuma goes. I'm wondering if he's going to maybe get that young kid and use him as the big lad, maybe as a six.
Which one?
Because he does. What's his name? I can't think of his name. I can never pronounce it. The young kid that was out on loan for 2 years, now he's back.
Vuskovic or whatever his name
that's it. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe him. He's a big lad, and he's only young, so he could. And Frank's got a reputation of moving people's positions and getting them good on, where he thinks they should be. So it's exciting for me to see what Frank's going to do. I am really excited, and as I said yesterday, the more I see about Frank and read about Frank, this guy's a proper coach.
Yeah, AJ said around 50 mil is nothing in today's game. People said Johnson was a waste at 50 and he's been one of our high scorers and he got us Champions League football. Exactly that. We need an experienced central defensive midfielder without no kids. I agree. 1,000,000%. Chris Rael is here, says, big up Kate and Jimbo. I think Kulu and Kudus would be an unstoppable duo. Yeah, I think that's a good call. 2Ks. Belieber from Brighton would be a good one. I just saw this on Twitter, or X, should I say. In the 2024-25 season, Mohammed Kudus had the highest dribbles attempted success rate, 190 dribbles at 47%. And the guy that tweeted this, Football Confidential's put, Mohammed Kudus on his way to Spurs, if you can add Eberechi Eze to the squad too, Tottenham could have 3 of the top 5 dribblers in the league buzzing around Big Dom Solanke with the likes of Tel, Odebert and more on the bench. Because we've got Kulu already, we've got Kudus. Even if we got Mbeumo, he's in that top 5. You know, it's interesting times at Spurs. I think, you know, I was losing a bit of my mojo, but I'm really starting to get excited for the new season. We've got a couple of friendlies coming up. We've got Reading and we've got, is it Luton? I'm going on Chris Cowley.
Yeah, Luton,
yeah, which I think is a Reading game. It's getting exciting. I'm looking forward to watching Frank Ball. I hear Henderson's available. Yes, he is. Sam says midfield was the problem last season. Didn't knit the defence and attack together, was run over and through too much. Yep, I completely agree with that. But I think the system and the way that Frank changes it up, depending what team he plays as well, is going to prove to be priceless. Ajax let Hendo go on a free. Good afternoon, Benji. I hope you're well, my lovely. Not struggling too much in this ridiculous heat. I'm melting. Kudus' dribbling ability will open up space for others because they will have to double up and treble up on him. Yeah, I mean, look, we came on and did a stream yesterday because there was so much doom and gloom, and we thought, come on, we'll bring a bit of lightheartedness. But look at the change in the fan base after one. Apart from the odd one who says, oh, he's not that good, I'm a little bit underwhelmed, in which case I don't really understand.
I haven't seen that in our chat, have you?
No, not in our chat. I saw it in the terrace yesterday. I think what a difference this one guy's made. Everybody feels a little bit better about Tottenham. Everyone's a bit more excited. I mean, it's amazing, Jimbo, our one.
Yeah, but I think it's a bit more than that, Kate. I think it's the fact that people are seeing now what Frank's doing, where he's bringing different people in for different positions. You know, where they're getting a link between the academy and the main squad. You know, and it's bringing someone in to work with people singularly. It's just a different vibe around the club now. You know. And this is what it should be. I mean, it's a massive organisation, Tottenham Hotspur, right? It's huge. I mean, when you watch the videos of how big it is, and I mean, they got over 800 staff. It's an empire. You know, they should have the best people doing the best things there. So it's nice that Frank's bringing that. It's just it just feels I didn't get that feeling last season with Ange as much as I liked Ange.
Someone's at the door, Jim. Someone's at the door.
And we stuck by him. It's a different feel this year for me.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. I'm so hot. Hearing reports we're going for John Arias of that Brazil team. Matt, I'm laughing at someone would pay 70 million for trash like Martinelli. That's it. I don't care personally. Shit. I just think 70 mil. I think 70 mil's hilarious. Big up Brian Maguire. Good to see you, sir. I did just see this on Twitter. It says Kudus scoring the winner against West Ham and doing this would be absolutely incredible.
He's going up to the Arsenal fans. He's running the whole length of the pitch and he's sat down in front of the Arsenal supporters and something's been thrown at him.
How amazing would that be if Kudus did an Adebayor, scores the winner against West Ham, runs the full length of the pitch to go in front of the West Ham fans? Oh, that's what dreams are made of. That's what. Hello, darling. Hello. We've got a visitor. Hello, darling. Hello. Yes, lovely kisses. Benji says, Kudus, Wissa and Sander Berg. I'm delighted. Do you know what? if it's Kudus and Wissa, I'm delighted. I'm not going to lie. Big up, Drew Lala. Good to see you, my darling. Yes, I need that celebration. Don't we all? Can you imagine the tears from the West Ham fans if Kudus runs the full length of the pitch, does a knee slide in front of the West Ham fans, gets things thrown at him, but who cares? He's just scored the winner. Please let that happen, please. Mommy. She just gave me snogs. I agree with you, Ben. Martinelli, maximum 35. I mean, I wouldn't want him at Spurs for 35 mil. I think he's so basic. He's not a bit of me. I don't rate him at all. I just showed the celebration, Jim, of Adebayor doing the full length of the pitch and then knee sliding. You're on mute. I can't hear you.
I said, let me see it.
Okay, and we said, wouldn't it be great if Kudus scored the winner against West Ham and then does this?
Oh, it's written in the stars.
He's going up to the Arsenal fans. He's running the whole length of the pitch, and he's sat down in front of the Arsenal supporters, and something's been thrown at him. Oh dear.
There'll be tears from the West Ham fans if that happens. I don't care. I think he should do. Who cares if he shouldn't kiss the badge? I think he should do the kiss the badge. What's this one? Let's have another look. This is some of the Twitter reactions. Let's have a look at it. Hang on. Sorry, bear with me. Let me share this. It says, the tweet says, Mohammed Kudus leaving West Ham to join the club they hate the most on earth.
That's bad news, isn't it? Terrible. It's tragic. That's bad.
I do love X. It is so funny. No, Jimbo's wearing his green top, not the new black top. He hasn't got the
which
black
Kate
one.
says I've got to throw away.
Yeah, because it had writing on the back and it's all come off and it looks awful.
I put it on
Kate,
yesterday and I got told off for putting it on.
I don't mind you wearing it in the house, but you were going to go outside with it on.
So I put a different one on and I thought I'd sneak it on today.
Kate, the funny thing for me about the last 2 weeks, I was telling West Ham fans we're taking your player and there's nothing you can do about it. Yep. Taking their best player.
I would have a lot more respect for them, Kate, if like Lawrence yesterday, instead of crying his eyes out and making excuses, he should have just said, look, you've nicked one of our best players and you've nicked him at a ridiculous price as far as I'm concerned. But that's down to our chairman and just being honest about it. But they're making every excuse under the sun that he's this, he's that, he's crappy, he'll let us down. In 3 months, we'll be crying about him. And I just think to myself, it's pathetic. Just take it with a bit of dignity and hold your head high and be honest.
Does anyone know? I mean, a few people have said that they're concerned about Brennan Johnson's future.
No, why?
Well, because Kudus has come in and taken his spot.
No, you're going to need two in that spot anyway, Kate. You can't just have one. No, it's fine. He'll be all right. You know, you got to remember we're going to get some injuries. And people will get moved around. You know, Johnson can play a few different positions. So can Kudus. It'll be fine. Johnson won't be going anywhere. I
absolutely love Douglas Luiz. However, his injury record does concern me a little bit. That's the only thing. I think he's such a brilliant player and I would love to see him. But, that does concern me. That's a lucky top, Jim. It's one of my favourite tops, but I had Kate and Jim 13 because it was our 13th wedding anniversary when I bought it for him. And it's all come off and it looks such a mess.
I hate throwing my Tottenham tops away.
Hotspur Sam says, I suspect like Glasner at Palace, it will take time for Frank. Time to get his message across, but when he does, it will be beautiful. Just need the fans not to panic. Yeah, perfectly right there. Yeah. Chris says, hearing Sesko might go to Saudi, Spurs should be all over the deal. Yeah, but they want ridiculous money, 90 million or something. This is the deal where Levy shines, using West Ham's owing of money to the bank in our benefit. 55 mil is a good deal. It's an excellent deal, Ben. Absolutely sensational, as well as the fact that it's over 3 years. Brilliant piece of business from Daniel Levy. Thoughts on Norgard? Look, he's a decent player and it's 10 million, so it's a very low risk signing. And I think it's a decent bit of business for Arsenal. I see Brennan coming off the bench. Ben's agreeing with you, Jimbo. Johnson will be a striker next season. So do you think he'll play 2 up top with Johnson and Solanke? You're muted.
Yeah, I know. I was just listening. They were talking about Eze. I think he might give that a go.
I'd love to see 2 up front.
I think he might give it a go. I'm really interested to see how he sets us up in the pre-season, what he tries, and they give us an idea then of how he's going to play. But look, he's got a fantastic reputation for changing things against different opponents and during the game changing things round. You know, he's a proper coach, and as I said earlier, the more I read about him, the more I watch about him and listen to people talk about him, experts. I really like him. I think he's going to be really good for us. I think this is what we've been craving for, someone to get a bit of organisation into our club.
Yeah, I agree. And stability.
Yeah.
Big up to the 58 people watching on X. Thank you very much indeed. 48 on YouTube and 58 on X. Amazing. So thank you to everyone watching on X. Back post Brennan's better off the bench, says Tottenham Ranger. I would play Johnson as a striker, says Side Dancer. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes. Daniel says, I'll keep it real. I look at West Ham, how I look at Fulham. There's no rival to me. A team who's never been in the Champions League, never won a top flight title. They're just another Fulham. Yeah, I mean, West Ham tried to be our rivals, but they finished above us once for like the first time in I don't know how many years. They need to just know their place. It's as easy as that. Ben says Frank will play whatever system suits the opposition. Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
John played up front for Forest, and we watched him at Forest a couple of times, and he looked mustard. So, Giddy Haps is copying Jacob's terminology. Is saying, "Can trash can Tommy stop PSG from winning every trophy this season?" Look, that's a very, very difficult task to try and beat that PSG team.
Of course, we'll beat them.
They're a different gravy. I did call it. I'm just going to say it again. I did call it that they were a different gravy, but it's going to be very difficult to get anything out of the Super Cup. But we'll see. Stranger things have happened. Morgan Gibbs-White would be a great signing. Colin, I agree, but I think they're asking too much money for him. We will not be as stiff and rigid in our approach. Exactly, Ben. Matt saying Xabi Alonso's in agreement with the Real Madrid board on Rodrigo should leave the club. Yeah, I've no doubt he might leave, but he won't be going to Arsenal. Carl Walker-Peters in talks with Besiktas. Now, you said all along, Jimbo, you didn't believe we were going to sign Carl Walker-Peters.
Well, I know. People are saying it makes sense because he's homegrown and he never get on the pitch. It just didn't make sense to me, Kate, because why is he going to want to come back to Tottenham and just sit on the bench and never get used? Yeah. And he won't get used. It's a no-brainer for me that he wouldn't come back. You know, not unless he just doesn't give a shit about his career anymore and is just happy just to be around, training, eating, watching.
What's that noise?
That's the dog eating her bone.
Oh. Johnson, Sonny, and Tell. What is that? Sorry, my thing froze. Johnson, Sonny, and Tell provide good variety at inside left. Yep, they do. Defar Shah, not seen you for a while. Hope you're doing well. Lacate got PSG spot on. Give her a black beret and a baguette. I'll take that. I love a baguette, mate.
I'll give her the baguette.
I'm going to get the last laugh on PSG this August after the shit I said. Well, I hope. I'd love to see us beat PSG. I just think we've got no chance. I like Sturkin more than Carl Walker-Peters. Man City's agreed wage terms with Morgan Gibbs-White camp, apparently. West Ham fans still crying, saying that they're not bothered about Kudus. And yet they're still going on about it. It's actually quite funny.
It's a bit cringy, Kate.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's a bit cringy.
what's this one? I mean, I expect Solomon and Hill to leave, but it says Roof Management has offered Tottenham the chance to sign Ademola Lookman. Whilst the deal for Mohammed Kudus was being concluded, Roof Management offered Lookman to Tottenham, valued at €40 million. At this moment, it's just a discussion. The attacker wants to leave Atalanta this summer and return to England. Wow. That was West Ham's dream target, apparently. I mean, that's interesting.
God. Oh, I just hope we buy him now.
That's the first I've heard of that, but that's a bit of news that's come out. And someone's put that makes far more sense than Wissa, in my opinion. Brentford have got the opportunity to extend Vissa's contract rather than sell him. He's got 2 years left at the moment. Romeo says they ain't going to start inside left. How are you going to create space for Madders and Kulu? Ben says, when we beat PSG, we're going to do it anyway. DeFarshaw says, Kate, I've been ill, but back in the land of the living. Well, good to see you. I hope you're all better now.
I have well.
Been. Romeo says, you need the touchline wingers to draw defenders out of position, and our wingers weren't doing that. Our wingers weren't doing that. No, that is true. Jimbo, we are going to have a different look with the wingers, I think, this year.
Completely different, Kate, with this guy. It's going to be. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing the pre-season, and then see just to see how he's going to work them and how he's going to use them, and obviously to see who comes. It's going to be a completely different look. It's not going to be known as gung ho football.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, how many games did I say last season that I watched the game and I was looking at players thinking, where was he meant to be? Where was he meant to be? You know, it always seemed to be out of position, and there was no backup to the defenders, you know, helping them out. It was a bit of a shambles last season, you know. But we won a cup, so I suppose we can't moan.
You do know if we beat PSG, I'm going to be shameless and say it was French farmers all along, Kate. You can say that. We all know that you've been proven wrong. Vista for 50 I couldn't do, but 50 mil for Lookman, I would take that. And Ben says Lookman is very, very good. That was just something that I just read on X. I can't lie, West Ham should calm down. At least they got money and didn't let him leave on a free like Spurs did with, I'm not even going to mention that guy's name. The defenders were worried about what's coming through the middle, then out wide, so there was no space for Madders, and that's why Ange played inverted because Son and Johnson would get pushed off the ball, says Romeo. Jimbo Defo says this every manager change.
Well, you've only seen me for 3 manager changes.
2, isn't it?
Two.
Ange and Frank.
Yeah, I was excited with Ange because it's forward football. Of course, I was excited. But I didn't really realise how gung-ho it was. But if you look at this manager, well, I'm telling you now, he's leagues above your manager, Matt. I wouldn't swap Frank for Arteta in a million years.
Nor would I.
So if Arteta come to Tottenham, I wouldn't be saying it.
I wouldn't. I like Frank in every way, as a person, as a coach, as a manager. I think he's a top man, whereas Arteta's just a strange little Lego.
That's Cage.
Strange little Lego man. Buy Vista and loan Richie with an obligation to Everton. Yeah, I'd love to see Richie go. Mohammed Kudus' payment over 3 years, therefore West Ham have less than 20 mil to spend. Don't buy you much today. No, I wouldn't use that 20 million on Martinelli though.
But you got to remember that if they buy, they're going to obviously do deals as well over 3 years. And
good day to David Shear. Good to see
David.
you. Hope you're well. Lovely to see you, David. Long time no see. Welcome back to the channel. Romeo says Solanke, Son, Madders, Kulu, between them missed 35 big chances. Well, yeah, everyone misses chances. Different this year, different Spurs. No West Ham needed to pay a £40 million loan off, so they only got to put 15 million in their skyrocket. Yeah, I did hear that. They had to pay it off by the 15th or something. And that's why they wanted to get the Kudus one done quickly. So yeah, there is that. Kate and Jimbo, you should expect Frank to finish above Arteta then. What weird logic. Jim?
How do you work that one out?
Because you wouldn't swap.
I wouldn't swap. Arteta for Frank, not in a million years.
Arteta's 6 years into a project. This is Frank's first year. I don't know how you can even come to that conclusion, Matt.
Yeah. Ask me next year what I think. I wouldn't swap Arteta for Frank. At least Frank don't let men feed him. He feeds himself.
Yeah. Rain Man says, was really interested to hear them talk about how the coaches are set up and love that there is a specific role to transition academy players to the first team. Yeah, we all said that. It's a fantastic new role they've brought in.
I think the whole structure of what he's doing, Kate, because they went through it, him and Lang with the Spurs guy, the interviewer, and I just think the whole structure looks so much better, and it's what we've needed. We've needed a structure around the club. You know, from top to bottom, they needed to change things, and it looks like it's happening now. You know, what's his name? Levy seems to be working in a different way, the way he's done it, and he's really got this in early. You got to give him some credit, Levy, definitely. You know, for what he's done. It took a lot of balls to sack Ange after he just won us a European trophy.
Yeah, 100%. Time is ticking for Arteta. He's got to do it this season, or he's gone. Give him a lifetime contract. When you miss chances, you end up on the losing team. Hi, Cobb. I haven't seen you for a while. Yeah, David, we've missed you. Just ask yourself this question, says Daniel. Would Lego Head do any better at Brentford than what Frank did with Brentford squad? I think you will find probably no.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Good afternoon to Archer. Says, who can predict Kudus' Spurs shirt number? Ooh.
I don't know what's available.
Nor do I. We shall see. I'll also expect us to... But Matt, your logic is so flawed. You've got a manager that's been there 6 years. You're buying all these world superstars, apparently. And yet you think that because Jim says he wouldn't swap, that he's expecting all these things. Your logic is completely wrong.
Arteta's been there with he's been there 6 years. He's had a solid team for 4 seasons. Right? Let's say 3. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Right? Let's say 3 seasons, but I think more like 4. Right? And he's still, what has he done, Matt? I mean, I don't know how you can. It amazes me how you can back this guy. You know, you should want better than just finishing second. We done better than you last season. No matter what way you look at it, we lifted a trophy last season. What did you lift? I'll tell you what Arteta lifted. He lifted his mouth up so a man could feed him. It's just like, I mean, I don't know how you can back this guy. I would be devastated if he comes to Tottenham. I would be.
Well,
it's your manager. If you want to back him and love him and feed him, then so be it.
Clubs can borrow on future income. So how's that on Ange? That shows Ange tactics work. I don't understand where we are with that. So
look. Let's give Ange some credit, right? He done in the cup. He was fantastic. I mean, he had them playing how they should have been playing in the league as well. But it was just a bit too gung-ho for me in the league. And I was one of the ones who said he deserved another season. But look, we moved on from Ange. We got Frank in. I like what's happening with Frank. So I'm a happy camper.
Look, he's having his medical today, so it could be tonight. The deal announced could be tomorrow. We shall see. Arteta loves getting fed meat. Yes, he does. Matt, you can't. Oh my God! If you put Sir Alex Ferguson in his prime, who was levels above
everyone,
but I'm trying to think of someone who was not great. Kevin Keegan,
Christian Gross.
That's a good example. If you put Alex Ferguson in charge of a really average team, but put Christian Gross in charge of an excellent team, do you see what I'm saying? You can't automatically say that just because they've got a better manager, they're going to do better. But I personally would never swap Frank for Arteta. That's my personal opinion. But we're not saying that just because of that, we're going to beat Arsenal or we're going to finish above Arsenal. We're just saying management-wise, we wouldn't swap. I don't know why that's so difficult for you to understand. Do you still miss Emerson? I don't. I never liked him in the first place. But Jim, do you still?
I kind of liked him. I think some games he was really, really good, right? And he had his poor games. He was never a top player, was he? But he put everything into it, and I loved his character as well. But I don't miss him, though.
No,
I did like him.
There was times he did really well for us, but there was other times when he was so bad. So I don't wish him any ill will, but I'm glad he's not our player anymore.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Could Porro play in a more advanced role this season?
Did you read the last one, Kate?
What about having to pay on a 15% sell?
Yeah, I never knew that.
Someone put that in the chat earlier as well. So they've been well screwed. I'd love to see Porro further down the pitch, but I don't think he will. I mean, Jimbo, what do you think?
I've always said it, Kate, that he should be more advanced.
Yeah, but do you see it happening? I don't see it happening.
Do you know what? I'm not sure. Because, as I said, Frank's got a reputation for putting people where he thinks they play best, and look what he's done with some of the Brentford players. I mean, you could pick some players out of Brentford that he's worked with that are, I mean, just unbelievably chalk and cheese from when he got hold of them. So it could be the same at Spurs. Let's see what happens with him.
Soul's legacy, you cheeky monkey. I can't believe what Kudus has done to West Ham. Is there no loyalty in football anymore? Shame on you, Soul. Shame on you, Judas. You're the original Judas, not Mohammed Kudus Judas. You're the original Judas.
It's quite funny, though.
Long as Arteta is there, you're lucky if you win the FA Cup or Carabao Cup. Yeah, and we know he's winding you up, but it's just ridiculous logic. Levy said, Romeo, I can see that you're an Ange lover, and I get it that you're bitter about it, but please stop going on and spamming the chat about it.
What did he say?
He's just going on about Ange was this and Ange was the Messiah, basically.
Yeah, but he's not here no more, is he? So it don't matter, does it? Let's move on from Ange.
I'm not saying that because Jimbo said he wouldn't swap. Jimbo said Frank is levels above Arteta. Did you?
Well, in my opinion, I think he's a better manager than Arteta, and I wouldn't swap. So that's what I feel, Matt. If you feel I'm wrong, and then that's okay because he's your manager, and obviously you're going to get behind him. But I'm just of the opinion that I think Frank is a better manager. I mean, who was it who just said? I think it was Daniel, wasn't it? That if you put Arteta into Brentford, I don't think Brentford would have done half as good as what Frank did. And I just think, I mean, I listened to experts on the TV, right, talking about Frank, and they can't believe he's not in one of the top four clubs. You know, they thought that Man United would snatch him up. They thought that Liverpool would snatch him up, and they didn't. And we've been lucky to get him. I mean, I can only go on by what I've watched, what I've read, and what I've seen experts say. So, and what we've seen with Brentford with our own eyes, how he's transformed them into a Premier League club.
Yeah. And is part of our history, and we'll always be grateful for him delivering that trophy. But he's gone now. It's time to draw a line under it and move on to the next chapter in Tottenham's history. If Levy had bought good players for squad depth, Spurs wouldn't have struggled with inexperienced youngsters. Yeah, that may be true. Let's hope he's
look, it doesn't matter what you say about Ange, Kate, right? What anybody says about Ange, right? He won us a trophy, I mean, he will always be in our history, right? But you've got to look at the other side of it as well, that we finished 17th and he was stubborn in the league, right? And I will back him there and say there was injuries, right, that hindered our season, but he didn't adapt when he needed to adapt in the league, right? Everybody saw it. And even if you're an Ange lover, right, I backed Ange nearly all the way. You know, I started getting doubts towards the end when we was dropping like stone. But he was stubborn. He wouldn't adapt. There was games that we lost that we shouldn't have lost. Well, that Ipswich game that we went 2K, we looked at absolute shambles, and he never changed anything during the game. He could see where it was going wrong. We could see where it was going wrong. We was there with Leo, and he didn't adapt to anything. And it's just
he just kept it exactly the same, and it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. And you know what? After we left that game, I said to you, I remember saying it, there's no way them players are playing for Ange, because it was a shambles. But look, he delivered us a trophy, and that'll never be forgotten. And he's marked himself in Tottenham's history, which is wonderful. But oh my God, Ben, I'm addicted to Love Island this year, and Emerson Royale would be hilarious. This is what I like about him. His personality is great. His social media presence is brilliant. I just don't really want him at my football club. Matt says you wouldn't because you hate Arteta. There's no footballing opinion behind it. You just hate him, which is fair enough.
What's that? What did they say? Well, you wouldn't because you. I don't hate Arteta. I don't hate him. Well, I just don't think that after 6 years, right, of being at Arsenal, and look, Arsenal are multiple Premier League champions, right? So Arsenal are a good club. They're multiple Premier League champions. I think after 6 years of being at Arsenal, him not delivering the Premier League with the money you've spent, right?
Or the Champions League.
Or the Champions League. I don't think how you can sit there and think he's the right manager for us. I'd be sitting there thinking, look, we need a change. You know, we've got a great squad and you've got some fantastic players. There's no argument about that. But this guy just can't get you over the line. And I'd be sitting there if I was an Arsenal supporter thinking we need a change. We need someone who can get us over the line.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion, Matt.
Big up Chris in UFC. Yep, you've got Anthony Alanga, decent signing for Newcastle, so you must be buzzing. Porto and Udogie were both wing backs. Porro at their previous clubs. Sol says every so often the arms below Jim look like his. You've got Kudus' arms. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just replying to what you said.
I mean, Matt, you tell me, right? Let me ask Matt a question. Matt, you tell me how you feel, right? Do you not feel that you need the manager that can get you over the line? And maybe you don't feel it now, but after this season, if you don't win shit, I'm sure you're going to feel it. So, but tell me what you think.
To be fair, with Saka out for months, Arteta did okay. But I could say I don't think Frank would have got Arsenal second. But you could say, yeah.
But look, if you lose one player, right, that shouldn't kick you up the bollocks as a club. It shouldn't, you know. If you've got a good manager, he will adapt.
We used to be called Harry Kane FC. Maybe they're Bukayo Saka FC.
Yeah, but when we lost Harry Kane, we always did well, especially under Poch. You know, he should be able to adapt losing Saka and work it in a different way. That's what managers are paid for.
They might have Madueke next year, just in case Saka gets injured. Just saying. George Graham and Ramos are part of our history, but you don't hear me talking about them every 5 minutes because they're shit. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Frank is a very good manager, but whether he can be a big six manager, we will find out. Remember Graham Potter, Jimbo.
I never liked Graham Potter from the Kate, have I? Can you ever remember me praising Graham Potter even when he was at Brighton?
No, exactly.
I didn't like the way he played football at all.
Big up Michael George. Dogs on screen, yay. See, we could just disappear, Jim, and just put the dogs on the screen and they'd be happy. Probably get more subs that way. 6 years and 800 million spent, he should have done better. Agreed. One FA Cup is not enough.
I'm not being nasty because it's Arsenal. It's just my feelings.
So by that case, Sir Alex was never going to be good enough. It took him 6 years to get going. But here, the team, the amount of money spent and the team he had are completely different.
Yeah, you can't.
Had and what Arteta's got.
You can't compare. It's different times with different players. The money that Arsenal spent under Arteta, the players they've bought in, you know. Well, look, you got another chance this season, right, Matt? So you stick with Arteta this season, right? Which I don't blame you. right? Because you're obviously buying well, and it looks like you're going to get what's his name, Gokares, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Let's see how you do this season. But if you don't win this season, you can't come on here next season and say to me anything about Arteta, because he's got his chance now. They're spending big.
What's this? Is that the Matt that called Fabrizio a nonce and Terry made him look like a goon when he wasn't allowed on Lee Gunner's channel? Dead joke. I don't know what happened there. I don't know about that. Frank's got his new BMW, Brennan Mo Wilson. Yeah. I'll take that as a yes, you fool, calling Fabrizio a nonce. Arteta sexuals are a special bunch. I really like Fabrizio Romano. Romeo, please stop going on about Ange or I will ban you because it's very boring. Jimbo, I'm always said I want Arteta to get his striker. When he gets that and I see what he does, then my decision will be made.
Fair enough.
Soul says, I've got to ask Jim, do you think any team in the world would have beaten PSG in the semis? Arsenal came closer than anyone else. Well, Aston Villa did a bloody good job and all.
Look, on the day you don't know any of the big teams, right? The crux of it is that Arsenal never beat them. That is it. You know, and I'm not having a go at them for that because PSG are the best team in the world by a country mile at the minute. But Arsenal never beat them. And it's not just that, Sol. It's not just that. It's just that they've had chances to win the Premier League under Arteta. You know, they was in a one-horse race and lost it. That's what I'm saying about Arteta. He can't get the Arsenal over the line. And if it was me if that was happening at Tottenham, I would be thinking, shit, we need to get another manager who can get us over the line. He just can't seem to get them over the line. But maybe this season it'll be different, but we'll see.
The excuse was, but we've got Pep Guardiola, the best Man City team. But when Man City had faded away last season, they still didn't manage. Liverpool trounced all over them with their manager who was there for the first time.
Okay, they were 11 points in front a few seasons ago, right? They were in a position that they should never, ever have let that Premiership go. And they lost it. They lost. They drew to Southampton. They drew to West Ham. They were in front in one game and ended up losing it. And they were 1-0 up. It was like 3 or 4 or 5 games in a row that they messed up. And if you want to win the Premiership as a big club, you can't do that. And Arsenal managed it. You know. I think when they were 11 points in front, they were playing someone like Southampton to go 14 in front. And they ended up losing or drawing. I think they lost, in fact, at home to them.
Nikos says, Arteta's a plant. Pep sent him to waste all their money and win no trophies. He will be very proud. I still think they should give us Win the Dog to an actual team who wins trophies. Yes. He's probably got rabies, though. When Sir Alex Ferguson joined United, managers stayed for much longer.
Yeah.
Win the Dog deserves better. Yes, he does. In Ange's first year, he got VDV, Vic, Madders, Johnson, and the players he wanted. He did indeed. He was backed. These Arsenal fans love and swear by Fabrizio 1 minute, but the second he says something like Madueke for 55 mil, he is unreliable and a nonce. Weird fan base, just like Matt. Yeah, look, there is a lot of that. It's like they were saying that don't believe what he said yesterday, but then other times we'll be linked to someone and they go, oh no, he's right. Big up Marianne, says happy we got Kudus over the line. Yes, indeed. First of many, let's hope. Yes, let's move on from Ange. I'm bored. The lovely pup's name is Bonnie, as in Bonnie and Clyde. Matt just put a shirt on win. At least the dog will run for 90 minutes. Win the Dog and Thomas Partey are special friends. Oh, don't. Let's be nice to each other. No reason to call people clowns and insult others. Yes, let's try and be a bit nicer to one another. But now it'll be just a case, Jimbo, of the final announcement. I mean, do you think it could happen today after the medical, or do you think it's more likely going to be the weekend tomorrow?
No, I think they get it. I think they get it over the line today, Kate.
Okay,
either today or tomorrow. I think it'll all be sewn up today. They might announce it in the morning.
Napoli president has not released any statement or interview about Garnacho. They are not working on a Garnacho deal at this stage. That's Fabrizio Romano has just come out and said that. Malik Tillman has gone to Bayer Leverkusen. Anything else? A picture of Norgard holding up the shirt holding up the Arsenal shirt. The only good thing about that football club is the dog. If the dog was not there, I would fold the club if I could.
He's not there no more, is he, the dog?
Yeah. Well, I don't think so. I've been told it's been replaced with a groundhog because it's the same shit every season. So I think when the dog's been rehomed, but I don't know if that's correct information. It's what Fabrizio told me. Calling people clowns is only allowed in regards to Man U, considering the state we're in. It's very strange the Man United Mbeumo thing. I think it's 37 days since they first made contact with him, and yet it's stalled and nothing's going on. What is going on? You know, do you think there's a chance we could jump in and get Mbeumo, or do you think he's going to end up going to Man United, Jimbo, or do you think he'll end up staying where he is?
Well, I just think that Man United have got too many players they want to sell on big money, and they're on big wages, and they can't get out the door. I said yesterday, you can't keep bringing players in. If they bring Kudus in, it's another 16 million, right? And plus he's going to be on 250 grand wages. You can't keep doing it, Kate, and having people that you're not playing. It doesn't add up. You know, when you're talking £1 million a month to pay his wages, right? And you've got people like Rashford there who's on 350 grand a week, you know, and I don't know what Garnacho's or what's his name, Garnacho and Hoyland are on, and you've got Sancho. I don't know what they're on, but it's not going to be cheap, is it? I mean, Sancho's got to be on a big wage. He's got to be on at least 300 grand a week.
Yeah.
You just can't keep doing it. It doesn't add up. I said this about Spurs a few seasons ago. You know, people were moaning we weren't bringing people in, but we had so much deadwood that we were paying wages to, right? They were never going to put a Spurs shirt on again. You can't keep bringing people in and not getting rid of them. It doesn't add up. The money doesn't add up. It doesn't work out for the club, and that's what situation Man United are in. We was in that situation where we had people like Sanchez and Dyer, and you know, and there was like Emerson was there. There was loads of them that we wanted to get rid of and couldn't.
Yeah.
And they're in that situation now.
Big up Paul G. Big up Dean Biggs as well. Big up Marios as well. Good to see you guys. Ben Jacobs is reporting that Arsenal are expected to contact Palace to discuss a deal for Eze. Eze is receiving significant interest from Arsenal. This follows positive talks. We'll see what happens with that. It is Groundhog Day, isn't it? It's the same second again. Ole, ole. Have I frozen you?
Groundhog Day with Eze as well.
Yeah.
That's Groundhog Day. We've heard that about 10 times.
Yeah, maybe Bill Murray's going to play at the Emirates as well. I think we'll get Wissa, says Marios. Benny, Ratcliffe can't even play sponsors properly if you pay me. I would love to know when we're going to get naming rights for our stadium. Everton got them straight away. They started building it, got them instantly. What is going on with our naming rights, Jimbo?
I haven't got a clue, Kate. We spoke about this last season. And I just don't know what's happening.
Influx of cash to get naming rights, but I just don't understand what the hold-up is.
There's been rumours in there.
Gyökeres to Barcelona in the Catalan press today. That will annoy Woolwich. Wow. We need to get rid of Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, to mention a few. Hoyland, he's got to be on that list as well, Paige.
I don't know why Arsenal don't buy Rashford.
Arsenal, yeah. To be fair, he could probably do a job there.
He would do a job there without any shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, of course they're in for Madueke. There's no smoke without fire. 100% they're in for him, and I'm loving it. I love it. Get Madueke to Arsenal. I think we should do. You know, there's a petition. After it came out that they've bid for Madueke, Egal was on the terrace with me last night and he said there's a petition already with 500 Arsenal signatures saying they don't want him at the club. I mean, how funny is that? It's just hilarious. Because we are known around the world as Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, especially with NFL and F1 fans. I know, but surely we're not going to just not have naming rights because of that reason. It's so frustrating. But anyway, we shall see what happens with that. I don't see naming rights anything happening before the new season, that's for sure. I'm just looking to see if David Ornstein's reported anything new. No, it's still about Kudus and obviously about Arsenal going in for Madueke. Who's the other one? Ben Jacobs. Let's have a look. I understand. Arsenal optimistic on. Oh, that was July the 6th. That was ages ago. Yeah, Arsenal expected to approach Palace, Rangers. We don't really care about Rangers. Bournemouth are close to an agreement for George Petrovic, who's keen on the on the move. Sunderland talks never advanced. Ramsdale and Johnston, 2 names they are now considering. Arsenal confirmed Christian Norgard. Oh my God, Aubameyang, what's happening to him? El Ettifaq have inquired on Aubameyang, who is set to be a free agent. Bloody hell, I forgot all about him. He just went into obscurity, didn't he? He kind of disappeared without a trace. But look, all eyes are on Spurs now. We've started well. Oh, yeah, look, Egal's put out a tweet. I've got to share this. Tweet. You've got to love Egal. He makes me crease up. Nobody wants or needs Noni Madueke at Arsenal. Stop. 50 million for Madueke. Arsenal are shooting themselves in the foot. Sort out Eze or Rodrigo first. That's it, Egal. You fly the flag for the non-Madueke. Look, he's even put a big cross through Madueke. I bet that's really upset him. And that's going to make a massive difference. I think the Arsenal board now will say, well, no, we better not have him because of Egal. It's coming. Ornstein will probably break the agreement first. Haven't you learned how this works? Kate, you know it's a relevant signing when Egal can't even back it. I know, that was funny last night. Give him a bit of stick for it.
Does Egal like Arteta?
Yes. Yes, he's an Arteta sexual, if you like. Big up Jimmy Hotspur. Good to see you. Maybe Arsenal can sign Aubameyang back when their Coquerez deal fails. Egal will bring back Noni once he's over the line. Michael George put, I don't want naming rights. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is cool. The Emirates, the Etihad, nah. It is cool, but it's the money that it brings in. Big up, Jesse. Good to see you, my love. Funny how Arsenal fans can make loud opinions over a transfer but keep quiet over employing a rapist for 4 years. It used to be a proud, classy club. Now it's a joke. Look, if I speak, I get in trouble. All I'm going to say is I may agree with that statement, but I'm not saying no more about it. It's a very sensitive issue. Also, I think it's rather interesting that Saliba's refusing to sign a new contract because he's interested in Real Madrid. And Nikos has said, what if he's not a backup? Maybe Madueke is Saka's replacement. If only that was true. Can you imagine the meltdown if Starboy left? Oh, my God. Already thinking about the Super Cup final. Do you think it will be a back 5? Porro, Romero, Danzo, VDV, Udogi? I would play Spence because Porro will get skimmed by Kvara. Oh, I think it's too early to say what team he's going to put out and what formation he's going to play. I don't think it matters against that PSG side. They are just a different gravy. Absolute class they are.
Can I just say on what Nick just said, Nikos?
Yeah.
But they offered him a new contract last season, didn't they, Saka? And he said, "There's no need for me to sign a new one. I've still got a few years left." So
Yeah.
when he said that, I thought that, oh, that's a bit strange if he's like intended to stay there for a long time.
We Are Tottenham TV are on the wind up because West Ham fans tweeted this and they've put, when does the protest start, lads? They put, if West Ham United sell Mohammed Kudus to the scum, we call for a total boycott and mass protest by all true supporters. Stand up for the club. Stand up for our pride. No more betrayals. Protest details coming soon. Spread the word and defend the claret and blue. And Ben and Simmer put, when's the protest, lads? Oh my God, you've got to love it. Does anyone know if Saka's taking Spanish lessons like Trent? Oh, interesting. Yes, Saka did refuse the new deal. West Ham are funny. You've got to laugh, West Ham. They are funny. Organising a mass protest because they've sold. Lee Gunner has tweeted, I beg that we buy Madueke. 5.5 years I've been told every single excuse under the sun and untold amounts of nonsense for calling this shit out. All the toxic positive mutants are now in bits. Seeing them all in meltdown is funny as beep. Best 50 million we'll ever spend. Oh my God. And None Madueke 14. Do you know what? We say our fan.
Well, he's right. He's right, Kate, because all they've said for 4 or 5 seasons is back the process, back it, right? So why change now? If you're going to back it and they bring in someone you don't like, you still got to back it. So he's right. Yeah,
I agree, but it shows a divide in their fan base as well as ours.
Yeah, because it's a divide in every fan base. If you watch streams, it's not a fan base without a divide. We're not the only ones.
Ben Jacobs, Spurs are weighing up a move to Brentford forward Johan Wissa, move driven by Frank. Wissa is keen on the move. Brentford don't want to lose Wissa and then Mbeumo. This is what I said on the terrace last night, but Terry thinks that they will both go. I can't see them let both go. But we shall see. Big up Colin from Talk and Ball. Good to see you. I ain't seen you for ages. Hope you're well and life is treating you kindly. If you're Saka and Saliba, you wouldn't sign. You want trophies. They don't get trophies coming second. No, that's true. Just to let you know, my request to UEFA to let us have 22 Tottenham players play against PSG has been denied. In all seriousness, though, we're going to shithouse that final on pens and watch Tottenham win.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see.
The thing is, Kate, regarding Arsenal, you got to think it's only a matter of time before players, if they're there for season after season after season, right? And they're top players, not winning trophies. They're going to get, well, what am I doing here? I've got their career's short. You know, it's a small window.
It's a 7-week anniversary yesterday since we won our last trophy. 7 weeks since that magical night in Bilbao. I would like to live that all over again. DeFarshaw says it's all over Facebook. I've been calming the West Ham fans by saying they will get to play their real rivals at their level soon. Leighton Orient. Oh dear. That's it. That's all the news today.
You doing a redirect?
Yes, I've set the redirect up for Benji because he's live at 2. Big up Moondog, good to see you. Been a while. Says good afternoon, Kate and Jim. Kudos in, on to the next. Thank you for the super chat. Kudos Moondog, always very generous.
You're out, kudos.
Yo homies, just got to work. Moose is here listening. Big up my pops. Big up Moose. Good to know you're listening, and big up Leo. PSG have still had no break. We're going into pre-season. By the time they come back, they will only have been back for 1 week's training. We can hope, we can pray. You never know. Saturday, 13th September, West Ham Tottenham, a good day for a protest. Yes, indeed. Let's hope. Jimbo and I won't be back doing a live stream next week. We're away for a few days, so we won't be back live until the week after. But there will be a members chat. And obviously, if there is any breaking news, we would do some shorts while we're away. We're only going up to Yorkshire. I'm on the football terrace at 5 o'clock. Anything you want to say before we go, Jimbo?
No, just have a good week, and we'll see you when we get back. And pre-season will be starting when we get back. Is that right?
Yeah, pre-season. One of the games is while we're away, 16th. But I'm
so
on Chris
we won't
the
get to see that. It's on Spurs playing it.
I don't know, but we're taking my laptop, so we will. Let me just have a quick look, Ben. I'm sorry if I go over. Oh no, we've still got a bit of time. Trying to get the Spurs pre-season matches. We have got. Oh, I'm so hot. Spurs Arsenal on Thursday, 31st July. Where's the ones? That's the pre-season tour. Hang on. Chris Carolyn emailed me today, and he said, "Thanks, Kate. All booked in for the Reading game. Right, we're playing on the 16th of July at Luton at 6 p.m. in the UK, and then on the 19th we're playing Reading at 6 p.m. And that's a Saturday, and I'm on Chris Cowlin straight after full time. So I think that's the show's at 6, so it must be a 3 p.m. kickoff. So I'm on Chris Cowlin after that. Spurs are 10-1 to beat PSG. Probably get 12-14 to one week of the game. I'll be back in that one. Big up, Steve D. Good to see you. And also been a member for 20 months. Thank you all for the support, as always, for coming on, coming in the chat, smashing the like buttons, chatting to us. You are what makes the show what it is. Otherwise, we'd have nothing to talk about. Thanks to Moondog for the super chat, and Steve for being a member for 20 months. Enjoy the sun or stay in the cool, depending which way you feel. Big up Joey Barton, just jumped in at the end. It's fine. You got here to say hello, so hello to you.
He does that on purpose. He's been watching and he thought I'd jump in the end. We know your tricks, Joey.
July, the actual first game is the 16th of July, and it's Luton. Reading is the second game on the 19th of July, according to Chris. But yeah, join me tonight. If you've got nothing to do, it's 5 o'clock. I'll be on the terrace. If not, then we will see you the week after next. Jim, I shall let you end the show as only you can.
Well, let's just look forward to the games ahead, because it's going to be good to see what Frank does with his team and how he sets them up and what players we've got coming in. But enjoy the weekend, because I'm sure Kudus will be announced today or tomorrow. And just come on, you fucking Spurs.
Yeah, and let's hope Kudus is one of many. So keep your eyes open. Let's hope there's some more signings coming in.
Oh, in a few weeks, I'm going to have another one there with Tottenham.
As Jimbo says, as always, come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs.
Giving opinions with no regret, smashing the top bins like in the onion net. Talking the talk with Kate and Jim, and walking the walk, just listen in. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim are gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter. Mix and transfer news, it's what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Jimbo always keeps a positive spin, while Kate's Mickey has a name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like Lenny, stop robbing, or she's just flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match.